Today on the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. No, I'm not doing that voice today. What's going on, everybody? L.A. Williams. And really, today's episode is going to be phenomenal. We have Mr. Justin Nischan. He is the internet director at Allentown Kia. This guy is such a great guy, a great friend. I really look up to him. He's just such a leader, and I respect that. So bottom line is that you really want to get some value from listening to him because he literally doubled his internet sales from the time when he started working at the dealership up until right now. So he's headed nowhere but up. So I promise you want to learn from him. Before we get into that, I just want you to know that today's episode is sponsored by Scar Food. Man, I'm telling y'all, you definitely don't want to waste your time on the scar creams that fail. They got this scar repair system. Everybody's buying it. Their scar care products are designed to diminish the appearance of new scars, old scars, stretch marks, surgical scars, acne scars, cuts, burns. I mean, pretty much anything. You'd be surprised. Even dry and aging skin. Now, all of their products work hand in hand to address all phases of the scar healing process. And another cool thing is that they're all organic, right? They're all natural or vegan. Right? So you can really feel good about what you're putting on your skin. So the best part is they get results. Kind of like us in the automotive industry, that's what we do, right? Car guys and car girls are all right now reaping the benefits of Scar Food, and you can too. Listen, join the Scar Food family and start your scar repair journey today. Just go to scarfood.com. Welcome to the Millionaire Car Salesman Podcast. The #1 resource for automotive sales professionals, managers, and owners to learn how to make money, accumulate wealth, and to all out ball out in the auto industry. And now your hosts, Sean V. Bradley and L.A. Williams.
Hey everybody, this is Sean V. Bradley, the creator of the Millionaire Car Salesman Group and the president, El Presidente of Dealer Synergy. Bam! And I'm here, man, with a secret weapon. He is like Jeff Spiegel was the ultimate weapon, right? This is the secret weapon. So I'm not even introduce him. I'm gonna let him introduce himself because that's how gangster this is right here. So excuse me, sir, can you introduce yourself to the world?
Justin Nischan, internet director at Allentown Kia.
I don't think they heard you. Say that name again.
Justin Nischan, internet director, Allentown Kia.
So, man, Justin, I've known you for how many years now?
A little over a year now.
Okay.
We met last year when you guys came into the dealership.
Okay. So follow me on this. When I first met you, how many cars were you selling out of your department?
Record prior to my starting as the internet director was 97. They averaged 70, 80 cars a month.
Okay, so 70, 80 cars a month. And do you know what the grosses were? And obviously, you're the internet director.
I mean, back before, I didn't really, to be honest, I dug into what kind of averages they did. I didn't dig into grosses. Just from what I know of the dealership, it was probably 2,500 to 3,000 a copy. We're usually a pretty good.
So now, fast forward, what have you done in the last year? Like since I've known you, like how many cars? What's the most you got out of that store?
Average is 115 to 120. Most is 159.
159 out of the department.
Yep.
So basically, from averaging 70, 80, top month was like 90 something to 152.
159.
159. Okay, so.
Nice.
So that's from 70, 80 to 159 out of your inner department. And did the grosses go up as well too?
Yeah. So on 159 cars, including the Kia money, which was about 40 grand, we had $588,000 gross sale.
Okay. How much?
588 on 159 cars. You trying to do the math?
Yeah. So 588,000. Wow. It's divided by 159. Okay. So you were at almost $3,700 a copy.
Yep. And it's actually, I did better than that last month.
Okay. And what did you do last month? Last month was July 2020. Actually, August 2020. August. That's right, man. Yeah. The time flies. It's August 2020's last month. So what did you close in August 2020?
So we did 122 cars.
122 cars.
Front, I averaged 4,600 a copy, basically, 4,589. And then used was $39.95 per copy. Average is 4,306 per copy on 122 cars.
So 4,300 a copy?
Yep.
Times 120 what?
122.
So holy crap, $524,000 in gross out of 122 cars out of the internet department.
Yeah, that's just us alone.
Okay.
Total.
So I want to repeat that again. So you went from selling 60, 70, 80, cars consistently out of the internet department, averaging, about like, what'd you say, 3 G's a copy, somewhere around there?
Yeah, somewhere around there.
To like literally almost doubling it. You know what I mean? Like again, 80 and 80 is 160, but if you're at 75, that's 150. So you practically doubled your entire internet department and you increased your gross by 30%. Is that about right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's
so
right.
How are you, and you work for like Mercedes or like Ford or Toyota? What kind of dealership do you have?
KIA, Kia.
Kia, what? All right. So not only are you maintaining gross at a very high volume, the average dealership in the United States sells less than 100 cars. So for your internet department to sell, 150% out of your department as what the average dealership sells of their whole store, that's amazing in itself. But to outgross full-blown dealerships from a Kia dealership is just insane. And you're also holding gross new cars, used cars, obviously, across the board. So bottom line is, how the hell are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, what would you say the secrets to your volume and your gross success is?
Honesty, actually.
Talk to me.
We are very straightforward with people. I know Telluride's had a very large, they are still high in demand. We're charging over MSRP, that kind of thing. But I have actually gotten a couple deals because we told them straight over the phone. At this point, we actually have it on our website that we're charging, $4,000 to $7,000 over MSRP for the car, and we still can't keep them on the lot.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We had customers that would go through and they do the normal thing and they call 4 or 5 different dealerships trying to find the Telluride they want. We were the only one who told them over the phone. So they'd go to the first dealership and find out about it there. It's $7,000, or sometimes it was more. Then some people were charging $10,000 over for an LX.
Right.
But told them straight out. And then there was times they came and said, listen, you guys were honest with me, so here I am. And then they just paid it. They didn't even ask questions. But I mean, in all aspects, it's, we break down how things really work to customers. I've taught my team quite a lot. I've done the sales. I've never actually been in finance, but I've been in the automotive industry. I've done marketing, I've done B2C, I've done sales. So I know enough to set up for growth all the time. I know enough to how to word things, how to explain it to people so they understand, but also let them know, like, a lot of times, for instance, bad credit. People will say they have bad credit and they'll be worried. And a lot of times people go right into, well, we can work with that. Da, da, da. So we actually go through that, but also explain how it works. If they're looking for, like, one of my reps today asked me if he had a customer that was a 500 score, wanted to stay under $20,000 on a Jeep Wrangler. It's never going to happen. And I even pulled up, so I said, here's a 2013 with 150 miles on it. That's $17,000. She's not going to be able to finance that. But we explain that to customers when they're really worried about stuff, and, whether it's about their trade or their credit or how leasing and financing. And I don't think they get that over the phone. A lot of times,
that's just wrong. Now, why do you feel comfortable doing that? Like whose idea was that, to be transparent and to be very candid, to go above and beyond and explain things and be more of consultative, truly consultative?
It's how I did it on the floor. It's how I did it when I was a BDC rep. It's just something that I've always done. I learned very early on. Now, I haven't talked to this man in years. His name is Sam Borelli. He's actually president of Faulkner Chevy Cadillac in Bethlehem. It's a dealership I started at. And I'll never forget him pulling me in my office, or in his office. Never talked to this man before. And like I said, president. So it'd be like Jake, or actually in this case, Randy. just showing up to the dealership and pulling me in his office. I was there a month. He played a 10-minute phone call that I had. Didn't say a word. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm fired. And he got out, he turned the little recording off. He's like, I have no idea how you felt that. And then he's the one who told me to get the little mirror and put it up and stop saying And since then, I have that monotone voice. I'm sorry, I'm not you. You are the Energizer Bunny. LA gets pumped up. You guys are high energy. I just learned that in order for me to be successful with my monotone voice here, I have an answer for everything like this. Doesn't matter what they say, how they say it, but it's also the right answer. That's the trick. It's how it works. So then what happens is they go to other dealerships, even if they are shopping us, they're running into not getting answers. And then they, hey, let me check. And then no one ever calls back. Meanwhile, in 30 seconds, I just knocked everything out. And then I just set the appointment. But they're coming in expecting, okay, I'm bad credit. My payment's not going to be $300.
This is really awesome. So you just put out so many good nuggets there. One thing that it's the first time it's come up before is that you obviously feel some kind of way that that you have a monotone voice and you were proactive enough to and be realistic enough saying, you know what, this might not be that exciting, this, that, and other thing, but if I want to be successful, I need to figure out how to counterbalance my handicap. And I don't mean handicap in a clinical sense. I just mean in a deficiency that you personally perceive, whether it's real or not. I never even noticed the monotone like that. I just thought you were very good at what you do. But if that's strong. So let me just flush that out. So if you are a salesperson, a BDC rep, an internet director, a sales manager, whoever you are in the dealership, and you might have some insecurities that might be in your mind or might be real. There might be a deficiency, but I think it's a brave thing to be able to acknowledge that, and then come up with a strategy or a plan how you're either going to conquer that or counterbalance that to offset that perceived deficiency. Dude, that was nuggets right there. And then the way that you do it, I think is also more nuggets. The fact that you're trying to, be quick and be specific and not give anybody the runaround. So that's strong. So let's go into a couple examples. Let's just say my name is Sean Bradley, and you know that I just bought my mother a Kia Sportage, right? Do you know that?
Yep.
Yeah,
I heard about that.
Yeah. But again, it's my mom, and again, I had this situation here. It's New Jersey, blah blah blah. I'm making excuses, but anyway, I'm a real Kia client. I already told you. I bought my mother-in-law a Soul. I bought my mother a Sportage, and the idea here is that I'm looking for a new vehicle. Let's just say it's I don't want to use the Telluride because it's too easy. Because I want to do something basic. Let's use a Kia Sorento. Okay, so here's the scenario. Sean Bradley submitted an internet purchase request on a 2020 Kia Sorento from autoweb.com. Okay, so I don't want you to explain. Let's just role play. So you're the BD agent, the BDC rep or the internet coordinator, and you make the outbound follow-up phone call. And so just go ring, ring, and we're going to role play. I want to just hear whether it's my process that you learned or it's your hybrid process. This is not a pass or fail.
Well, how long it's been since I've been on this end of the role play.
That's the point. You're either about that life, Justin, or you're just faking the funk. So let's go.
All right. Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hello, is this Sean?
Yeah, speaking. This is Sean.
Hey, Sean, my name is Justin. I'm one of the internet coordinators here at Allentown Kia. We represent AutoWeb, calling about your purchase inquiry on the Sorento. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. I was looking at the Sorrentos.
Great. Now, I didn't get a whole lot of information as far as what trim level. Have you done any kind of research? What kind of features are you looking to have?
I want the bells and whistles. Again, I can turn around and get a BMW or have you. I'm entertaining this is because I think that I could get a lot of the high-end features for a fraction of the cost. So I want it loaded out.
Absolutely. No, definitely. So if you're looking full blown, you're going to be looking at an SX. Now, what would be your first color option?
Black.
Okay, and just so more, what would your second color option?
Orange.
Orange. Well, listen, unfortunately, I'd love to tell you there's orange. They don't make them orange, but I'm sure we have a body shop we work. I'm sure we can work something out there.
Okay.
We'll start with black. Outside of orange that we could potentially do for you, what would be your second color option that Kia actually makes?
Black. It's either black or orange.
Okay, black or orange. Got it. So black is definitely available. I actually have quite a few. Now, the 3.3 liter SX, you go with all the different options. you're going to be looking in at the 40,000 range as far as price. Is that what you had in mind?
Yes, but I want to just know right now. Hey, over that, I see some of these dealers are charging over sticker for these things.
Correct. So typically with the Sorrentos, it's not usually there. I'll be honest, the Telluride is usually where that's at. And that's just because
Telluride. See, I was confused on that. Okay, no problem.
The Sorrento, the Telluride honestly could be up to 10,000, depending on which trim level. But the Sorrento, that's something I believe right now I have up to $6,500 in rebates. So that's something we can figure out. Outside of price, what else would be important to you on where you decide to purchase your next vehicle?
Listen to me, I'm extremely busy. I have a training company. I travel a lot. So convenience is my number one factor. I don't have a lot of time. I need to make this quick. And I honestly don't want to go to the dealership and waste my time. I like to get as much of this done over the phone or internet. Is that possible?
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I can give you a rough estimate. I can't really put all the puzzle pieces together until you're here. There's a lot that goes into it. It seems like you know a lot about what you're doing. It seems like you're a smart guy. So there's financing. Are you trading anything? I don't think we covered that.
No, I don't. I have a lease that I'm terming.
Okay. What lease do you have?
It's a Toyota Camry.
Okay. What year?
2016.
Okay. How many payments do you have left? Like, how long do you have that left?
I literally, this is my last month.
Okay. Did you make your last payment already?
Yep.
All right, perfect. So listen, what we can do as far as that is while you're here, if you still have that car, we can actually call Toyota and get a buyout. We might actually have some equity in there to use. So that's another factor that we have to factor in, but we'd have to see that.
Oh, really? I didn't think of that. I thought that when I turn the lease in, that's it.
Correct. So when you turn your lease, if you go to Toyota and you just say, hey, I'm done with the car, you can drop it off. There's also a residual value. So the residual value is going to be on your contract. It's what you would pay to buy the car. Okay. Now, most people don't know this. The third option is there's a dealer buyout where I can actually call Toyota. They'll tell me you can buy this car and put it on your lot as a used car for this price. When it comes to that, it's no different than a normal trade. So if they say, and I'm going to, make math easy for myself here. If they say the buyout's $20,000 and we look at your car and determine it's worth $22,000, you actually have $2,000 towards your next car.
I had no idea.
I won't know that. Right. And that's what I mean. That's why it's so important that we sit down and put all the puzzle pieces together. Okay. Now, the appraisal seems like it could be a big part of how it's going to affect your deal. Are you available tonight or tomorrow for an appraisal?
Wait a minute. Like I said, I don't want to just come in. I want to get a little bit more information from you first. Again, potentially, like based on the year, make, and model of my lease term, it'd be great if you could get me that information on what that might be. Second is,
What was second? Go ahead.
Second thing is getting an estimate, cost of the actual vehicle itself. You said there's $6,500 in rebates, but is there any other discounts, from the dealership? Those rebates are from the manufacturer.
Yeah, correct. Give me 1 second. If you give me what color, you said black, and what interior? Have you done research on what interior is available?
I prefer dark. I don't like beige.
Black on black.
Black on black. Yeah. Or black and orange.
Or black and orange. Again, I have another guy that I can work with that can maybe do some orange interior for you. I got everything. Listen, I got a number for everybody. All right. So I'm bringing it up right now. Now, you were looking to lease this again, right?
Yes.
All right. Now, you did mention Jersey. What is your zip code?
08055. Stop. So again, this is really good. That was a role play. Dude, you acting like this shit was real. Like he was going in. But well,
that's what, to be honest, that's why I wasn't looking at you. Because when I'm on the phone, I'm one of those guys I have to kind of space out and look around. I usually pace.
Right.
So just stop looking at you. No, but I'll go into that. And I don't let all my reps do it. It's one of those things they have to show they're capable to get to that level. Mm-hmm. But if I have someone that's really, really pressing for ballparks and wants to know their payment, I literally have them do Kia.com.
Right.
Build the car, match the car to the MSRP if they have a specific one picked out. And then I tell them, tier 1 credit. If you're looking to lease 36 months, 10,000 mile, you're looking as low as this, and it doesn't include any tax and tax.
Justin, what I like about what you did, one of my favorite parts is when you started, kind of educating me and you were explaining to me about that lease term. I mean, it was great. You know what? I wish people that are listening do jujitsu, because when you're doing jujitsu or you're MMA and you're rolling, you're grappling, I mean, you're literally rolling around the mats with another person, and all of a sudden, if somebody lets out an arm or a neck or ankle or a leg or a wrist or whatever, your opponent could grip you up and put you in a submission. But it's almost like jiu-jitsu is very fluid and it's very interpretive. You know what I mean? Like if I feel somebody's going this direction, I can follow up and I can put them in that. What you just did is we weren't even focused on that. I'm just going through the process of starting the conversation. And then you're like, you have a process to qualify, and you were asking about the trading. And then that question, my response opened up another idea, and you jumped on that idea. And then that triggered me. I was like, well, what do you mean? You know what I mean? Because obviously Sean Bradley, the trainer, knows what you're talking about, but Sean Bradley, the prospect, might not have a clue. And a lot of people don't know that there might be an equity play, when you're coming in, which could change a lot of things, whether it's the down payment, whether it's the monthly payment, or what the type of vehicle you get, because now you have X amount of dollars equity in the deal that you didn't have before the conversation. And that builds, to me, trust. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, wow, this guy just showed me something that I didn't know about that's going to save me money or put me in a better situation. So now I trust you. I like you. And so, bro, that was very dope the way that you did that just now. Mm-hmm. And it was very natural. Really, it was not rehearsed. Like you were like, oh shit, I don't want to role play with you, Sean. It's been a long time. But that's because this is your craft. And shout out to all the internet directors and BDC directors out there. You got to be about that life. What I hate is fake ass internet directors and fake ass, BDC managers that are not about their life. They're more of like a CRM person or a marketing person, but they're not about that sales conversation life. Because I know if I'm a BDC rep and you want my true respect, you better be about that phone life. You better be able to close phone appointments. You better be able to go in my TOs. Just like if I'm a salesperson, and I have a sales manager barking orders, telling me to do this, do that, and where am I going? Well, shit, if you're going to be like that, then you better be about that life. You better be, as my sales manager, able to turn around and sell a car, or able to handle one of my TOs and put money in my pocket. Because now you have not only my fear, but my respect and trust. And so a director like you, I think, is strong as hell, because you don't just talk the talk. You're able to walk that walk because you're about that life. And I appreciate you not hesitating and was right here on the spot, complete non-planned role play. That's dope, man. So shout out to you.
Like I said, I think a lot of it just comes down to, one, most BDC departments, and you know this firsthand, aren't trained. They have no idea. I've worked in BDC departments as a BDC rep. That was, retired HR was the manager. Retired school bus driver was one of the BDRs. One, I don't even know what she did beforehand. She was supposedly an internet director too, and that was just scary. Because we had to actually do her tasks when we were done with ours, because she could never keep up with her store. But, they're not trained. And I think car salesmen, BDCers, I think a lot of people in the car industry do this. What they do is they forget that the common person doesn't know all the ins and outs of buying a car. So you throw something at them like that lease equity that they've never heard of before, and they go, huh. So why didn't anybody else bring that up to me?
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it's little things. Like I have sometimes, one of my reps, Megan, she's very good. She's very young. She just turned 20. She's been crushing it. You know what I mean? She's probably on pace to make over 50 grand, probably close to 60 grand this year with COVID and all that stuff as a BDC rep. But she will sometimes forget when she gets the leads and she's texting customers and they're talking about wanting to be $300 a month on a $60,000 car. She forgets that they just don't know how that math works. She'll calm down. She'll start to explain it. And I can't tell you how many Telluride customers we've had that have bought rentals. Just because we've explained how the pricing works. I even have, when they do the Kia.com quotes, I even break it down with what the difference with the market adjustment. Finance, $20 per thousand, lease $30 per thousand. So if I'm quoting an SX Telluride, I'm going to do Kia.com. If it says 500, I'm going to add the $210. That would equate for the $7,000 adjustment. And that's the quote I'm giving. Instead of lying and saying, yeah, it's as low as MSRP and bringing them in, because that's another part. You have BDC reps and BDC departments that just say anything to get them in there. And then you're fighting an uphill battle and trying to show them, hey, I know you saw 35 online. It's actually 42. It's not going to go over well.
And
which
then,
is exactly why we're straightforward.
And that, especially in today's day and age with online reputation, with social media, you don't want to turn around and get a reputation as a dealer that's wasting people time, lying on people and shit like that, because people are going to post it. They're going to MF you on social media and blast you. I would, if you just wasted my time and lied to me in the middle of a freaking pandemic, I'm out there going to a dealership for nothing and lies. Oh, hell no. You're getting aired out. So talk to me about, as a director, you are a very, very successful director. Talk to me, profile who is the ideal internet coordinator or BDC rep under your command. You know what I mean? Or that if I'm an internet director listening to this and I want to learn from you, I want your advice on what is going to make the best internet coordinator BDC rep. What is their personality like? Is it male? Is it female? Is it young? Is it older? Is it, somebody that's busy, somebody that's got nothing going on in their life, somebody that's outgoing, somebody that's passive, somebody that's like energized, monotone? I want you to profile the ideal coordinator. Let's go.
All right. So I haven't really had any luck finding male candidates, much less someone who I actually hired. I don't know why I discovered that when I got into BDC. And mine was just, I got into car business as sales, had the divorce happen and everything. I was 5 months into car sales. So I ended up with child support and all that. I dropped out. But then I saw a BDC where it was salary plus commission. I went, and I took that job. So that's, I was always usually the only man. Once in a while I'd have a male manager, but they were usually worthless. They were usually guys that just knew how to run reports, that they just sat at a desk while the girls made calls. So ideally, from what I've had success with, it's younger driven women.
Okay.
Sierra is my top rep. She makes $60,000 a year plus as a BDC rep. She's 25.
Let's talk about her for a second here, because there's more than that. What did she average about a year ago?
About a year ago when I started, she probably averaged 70, 80 calls a day. Maybe it would be around the 20 mark, that 18 to 20 mark.
So
as far as the
for 18 to 20 car sales, because of the appointment she brought in.
Yeah, that was when I came. So when I came on, obviously it jumped up. She usually averaged closer to 25. She had 1 month where she was at 30 last year.
And when Dealer Synergy came on the scene, and
that was March. Yeah, that's when I started. It was around the same time. Absolutely. But no, the training definitely helped. The setup helped. The support helped with Dealer Synergy. But it allowed them to actually focus. And Sierra's been through it. Sierra's been here 3 years. She's had 3 different managers. I'm her third manager. She's been through some of the other training companies, Power BDC, that type of stuff, where they're, we just tried it, and it was successful to a certain extent. But they didn't have the right manager in place either, because they didn't have me hounding them. That's why even with the manager before me, they were still getting 70, 80 calls a day. And that was the high end of the entire department, by the way. Most of them averaged 30 to 40 calls a day, which is why the numbers were they were. So when Sean Bradley and Justin came in with their sledgehammers, things changed drastically. 120 minimum phone calls. Sierra now averages closer to 30 cars a month. And that's including the older stuff, but she's probably, the last month she had 38. Her high is 53. So she hasn't been less than 30 cars since we came back from Corona.
Okay, so she went from 1820 to 53. I mean, that is just astronomically high for a internet coordinator BDC rep to have 53, sales. Okay, now you told me a number that was just shocking. What was the most that she's made in a month? All in.
Oh, the most she's made in a month. Hold on. I'll tell you, because we had a board bonus and stuff at the time too. So the most she's made in a month, she gets about $2,000. I'm using a calculator here. Salary. And that particular month, she made $8,100 commission. That was a month she had 53 sold. Oh so God. She made over 10 grand.
Holy shit. As a BDC rep, she made over 10 grand in a month. Now,
with her salary and commission.
Is she a young woman?
She's 25.
25 years old. And when she took a gig at a car dealership in the BDC setting appointments, did she ever think that she'd be able to earn $10,000 in a month?
I had no idea. She was the type, and it took me a little while to get through to her, because she just worked. But she's been here for 3 years. She started at Allentown Kia a month before I did as a sales rep. So she's been here since June of 2017. She's, like I said, she's had 3 or 4 different pay plans. And typically it was, $14 an hour, 10, 20. And she was just comfortable. So it wasn't until I started tweaking things like the pay plan, where it wasn't a set pay plan. It was how you finished determined your pay.
Explain.
Making little tweaks like that. Now they're, she, like I said, since she's actually got to see that kind of money for the tier 3, I enacted the new pay plan with the tiers on March 1st. We shut down March 19th. But since we came back in that first full month, June, where we crushed it and she had 53 cars and made over 10 grand, she hasn't had less than tier 3 since, and that 70 shows 30 plus sold since June. She had 38 last month. She made about $7,500 last month total.
So this woman could potentially earn 6 figures, $100,000 in a year if she keeps up the pace.
Yeah, she keeps up the pace, and she does have to pick it up a little bit if she wants to get to there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But it's realistic. It's not like a pipe dream. Do you think it's realistic if
absolutely. She made, with me, I didn't come in until March. That's when you and I started in 2019 at Allentown Kia, March 1st. She made $60,000 last year alone. And that was with 3 months of probably making $3,000 a month.
This blows me away because I've been in the industry for 22 years, and I only know a very, very, very small amount of internet coordinators or BDC reps making over $100,000 a year. But that's special. I mean, I don't know if Sierra knows that, but I definitely think I want to interview her one day as being a powerhouse coordinator, because
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
But you know what's good about that is I believe you get what you paid for. Do you think for a second that Sierra is the basic internet coordinator to BDC rep, the average one the average dealership across the country has? No. So then she should not be paid like the average basic person out there. She should be able to earn as much money as she's able to create value. We say price is only relevant. Price is only relevant with the absence of value. Your income is only relevant based on the value you bring to the organization. And if this woman is capable of 50 plus units, that's insane. So here's what I want to say to all the dealer principals and GMs and GSMs out there. Stop being fucking cheap and stop turning around and giving these bullshit pay plans with these bullshit opportunities for people that could, if you get the right people, can earn into a tremendous amount for themselves and the organization. Because I don't think you would have somebody like a Sierra or a Carmela or somebody like that, if they were just making, $2,000 a month. I mean, you get what you pay for. You get people that are worth $2,000 a month. But if you want to develop high-level internet coordinators, if you think of Wall Street, especially back in the 80s, 90s and stuff like that, before the internet really blew up, obviously, there's people that were just basically telemarketers on Wall Street making hundreds of millions, billions of dollars just being a telemarketer. And those people those reps, those brokers, these people are making millions and millions themselves. So again, when people think that telemarketers are dumb or basic, or they should be able to get minimum wage, maybe a little above that, I think that's wrong mentality. If you feel that your BDC's minimum wage, if you feel that you have some, Belizean sweatshop in your dealership and that's your BDC, and that's how you pay and treat those people, that's what you're going to get. But if you really put your BDC reps on a pedestal, not like they're prima donnas, but give them the respect that they could earn. You know what I mean? I think it's a different environment. What do you think, Justin?
Well, I fully agree. The best analogy I can come up with, let me ask you, Sean. If you had, a ton of money in marketing, like most, dealer principals and stuff do, I know some that spend $30,000 plus a month, some much more than that. Would you rather be handling the stuff that comes in from that marketing? You want them to go to the Pee Wee football team or the NFL team?
NFL team.
Yeah. So if you're going to pay for the Pee Wee football team, you're throwing your marketing money away on top of it.
Right.
I mean, you're actually probably wasting more money not paying your BDC than just paying.
Right.
Because,
that's a good
marketing. I've mystery shop people where you should hear some of the people in my area. That's probably part of my, success because my team is trained. But I mystery shop other Kia dealerships, and I'll go for everything. I don't care what make and model. I've actually done that to try to recruit people too, if they sound good on the phone.
Hell yeah, that's what's up.
They're very short. They don't have any information. You need to come in either that, or you're on the phone with the BDC rep for 3 seconds, and they just transfer it to the next person.
Right.
And like I said, the honesty part and the knowledge is the key to holding gross. I actually mystery shopped a local Kia dealership. It was about May of last year. It was a couple months after the Telluride came out. Everybody was charging over MSRP. Within 5 minutes, I went through BDC rep, sales rep, manager, and I was on the phone with the GM in 5 minutes. And he was quoting me MSRP minus rebate on a Telluride. This car has been out for a month, 2 months. And just nothing. It's just like, hey, when you can come in, here's the price. But no one answered any of my questions. They just, you have to come in for an appraisal for a trade. Nothing on why that was important. There's no value though. Right. How many people would you think call Dealer Synergy trying to get an idea of pricing, and within 5 minutes can be on the phone with you or Karen?
Right.
And that's essentially what happened. The guy that was on billboards as new ownership, I was on the phone with him.
Crazy.
And of course, you're not going to be able to, even if you do it at that, you might be volume, but even then you have a hard time keeping up with it. But, we build the value in the phone, we build the trust, and it's already here when they get here.
Now, I want to redirect. What is the percentage of total sales come from your department? So if you sold 152 cars the other month, what did the dealership total do? I
was close to 70%. I was like 68 or 69% that month of the total deals. Typically, I'm about 65%. Like last month, I was like 65 on the nose with 122.
That's crazy. So your department counts for more than half, almost 2/3 of the entire dealership's business.
Correct.
Okay. So then to the organization, to your dealer principal and your GSM and what have you, how much value and respect do they put on the internet department or the internet opportunities?
I have my dealer principal, Jake, who you know very well. He's very into it. He covers things. He looks at the emails. He'll get leads. It's funny. Sometimes it's overkill. We both get like the chat transcripts, and there's times that he sent me a chat transcript, like forwarded and said, hey, this guy should be able to buy. Let's get him in. And I'm responding back because it's like half hour after the lead came in that they're already scheduled. Sometimes I've already said they're already here. But he's very involved. They do take a lot of pride in the department itself, the sales. It's a very team-oriented thing here. That is one thing I can say as far as past experience working in BDCs. BDC teams and sales teams, specifically managers, hate each other.
Talk about that.
And so most of the BDC managers I've worked for, honestly, as a rep, they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know the car business. Like I said, the one guy, he was a 70-year-old retired HR manager that was in charge of the BDC. He took a week every month just to do the end of the month reports. So the last week of the month, when you need the manager the most, it was, don't talk to me, I have my reports. So then, of course, untrained people that get paid on bringing people to the store are going to say whatever they need to say to get people in the store.
Right.
One of my favorites is it doesn't matter what they say. And this is the weakest thing that I've ever seen. And I've seen it in a couple different places. Doesn't matter what the customer said. That sounds reasonable. When can you come in? Oh, you want the $60,000 Telluride? You're a 400 score. You had a repo and you want to be $200 a month? Sounds reasonable. When can you come in? We actually had a rep like that here when I was on the sales floor. Hated it. Because they'd walk in on a $40,000, $50,000 SUV and want to be $200 a month. And then it's just trying not to get a bad review at that point. But here, because I did work on the sales floor, I understand the actual process of the sales floor, which is another, I think, big confusing part for most BDC sales relationships, is BDC knows how to talk to people on the phone. They have no idea how to sell a car. They have no idea what the actual road to the sale for the dealership is, how to handle it, when the test drive, when the numbers, all of that. So they're just saying random stuff. I have basically tied the process as the sales rep into the BDC process. Like I will straight tell people, even if I TO and set the appointment, if it's my day off, like, hey, all right, you're going to come in, Sean. I got you scheduled for 1:15 Tuesday. Now, listen, you're going to ask for me. I'm not going to be here. I say that on the phone. I said, but that lets the sales rep that greets you know that you have a file and one of my team members can bring it up and bring them up to speed in an instant instead of you starting all over.
That's awesome.
So, I go all into that. We bring them in, but they know they're going to come in, they're going to drive the car. They're going to, if numbers work, then we'll get into the credit. We'll figure it out then, but we don't want to of course we spin it for a more positive way. It's not like we're just not giving numbers if they're not committed. It's just, we don't want to say, yeah, we'll give you numbers. We'll give you this, because we're not going to give them numbers if they're not committed to buy. We'll go over numbers and ballparks, but we're not actually breaking a pencil out. That's just our sales process.
Right.
So to do that and not actually set someone up for that can be bad. The fact that we have such a team atmosphere, and Corey and I, my GSM, and me and the other managers, Lakey and Johnny, we all work together very well. It's just a matter of how should we handle this if it ever comes up. There's times where some weird stuff happens, so I'm not quite sure what I should do because, like I said, I've never been in finance before, so I'm not an expert on everything finance. I know a lot of how it works for selling a car, but I don't know the details because I've never done it. So if it's a weird thing that I'm not sure, I'll go up and talk to Corey, say, this is the situation. What do you want to do? And then there's time to go back and I'll just do whatever I got, whatever it is. If it's telling the person that we need money down or a cosigner. But then even then, when I call them or one of the reps call them to say like, hey, this is the situation. We ran your credit based on what you're telling, what we can see, you're going to have some issues. We might even tell them if they're on like a Wrangler and they're in their situation, we're going to say, we might be able to get you done. It's not going to be on the Wrangler. You're going to need probably $3,000 to $4,000 down. Mm-hmm. And because the reps that I have in the BDC are building that rapport and being honest and giving all that information and building that trust, they can easily make that call just like I did as a sales rep and then have that person come back that you had in the store and then say, hey, we talked like a month ago, I have 3,000 down. And sometimes they're so good at it, it's scary. I had a guy yesterday call in and ask one of my reps to be his girlfriend because he did such a good job of trying to help him and do all that.
All right. So what I want to do is, man, this is a lot of information from that role play to Sierra to you to just, this is great. So what I want you to do now is I want you to just leave a closing statement. So this is it. I don't want to have a 2-hour podcast. I want to make these bite-sized so people could flow with them. If let's say the audience is executive management, whether that's the dealer principal or GM or GSM, but most importantly, the internet director or BDC director, talk to me, but talk to them through me. You know what I'm saying? Just like, what do you feel it's going to take for somebody to be successful in September 2020 and beyond? You know what I mean? Like the car climate has changed. People have changed. That's natural. Just because every second that goes by, we evolve as human beings, technology wise, philosophical wise, et cetera. But then with this whole global pandemic with COVID-19, it's changed the way that people research, buy, and shop. And it's also changed people's expectations. It changed people's communication. So with all that being said, Justin, as a high-level internet director you are in this industry that's doing profound things, what advice do you have for people like you?
Remember, it's not just about numbers. Too many times we forget, especially in the internet department, we are in the people business. If you want the numbers, you treat people like people, you'll get the numbers. And that's not just talking, BDC rep or manager to customer. I'm talking manager to reps. It's all about realizing you can't treat each rep the same. You have to learn what drives each. You have to spend time. I have spent so much time with my team. I literally have them call me at random times because I had one girl call me on a Sunday at 11 o'clock because she got in a fight with her boyfriend and her dad was at work. That was Megan, my 20-year-old. But it's because I've taken the time not only to learn what makes them tick, but I showed them how to improve that, how to look at their weaknesses, how to write things down. I am constantly in communication with them and helping them and it's not just about, hey, say this next time you're on the phone. Megan is another example, Sean. She has been in the business for a year. I hired her May of last year. From May to December, she finished the year out with making over $30,000. She's 18 when I hired her. But I learned that she was eager to learn. She was very responsible. It was just building up her confidence. That was her biggest thing. Once the confidence came, she went from never working in the car business, this being her first full-time job, to making almost $60,000 a year, because she got the confidence and she wasn't afraid to ask the questions. And it's just because I built that relationship. I built that trust. Half my team has actually said, if I ever leave this dealership, they're coming with me, because they don't want, Sierra, especially Sierra, like I said, she's been here 3 years. She's seen multiple bosses. And she has literally told me multiple times I'm the best boss she's ever had. And it's just because I'm real. Like, people have lives. You got to treat them like people. People have lives. Stuff happens. Bad things happen. Relationships break up. Divorces happen. And too many times we're so worried about numbers that we're mad that someone called off. And we're giving that person crap. Especially because that's the first time they called off in 7 months. I don't care what day it is. It's something happened to cause them to call off. It's not normal. But too many times instead of yelling at them, like, I had one of my girls broke up with her boyfriend and texted me the other day at 12:30 at night. Told me she wasn't making it in the next day. My only response was, are you okay?
That's a good boss.
But that's what it is. And it's leadership is, treat them like people. If you're going to lead, you want to create more leaders. You don't want to create followers. You don't want to create subjects, because subjects aren't going to go any further because they're afraid if they go out of line, they're going to get in trouble. Right. Followers are just going to do what you tell them. But if you don't tell them to do it, they're not going to do it. You create more leaders, they're going to do stuff on their own.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's such a strong thing. I see that the most successful departments around the country, it's the director, it's the leader that's basically setting the tone. Whether it's in the military and you're calling cadence, or you're in college crew and you got somebody saying row, you need somebody to call the cadence, not just in the workload and the row, but also in the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like if you are creating an environment that is conducive to success, prosperity, happiness, excitement, et cetera, then that's what you're going to have. But if you are, an angry director or a mean director or a not respectful director, you might get production, but you'll have high turnover. You'll have, problems with, culture, with attitude, dependability, trust, loyalty, whatever. So I think that you're not only successful, but you're doing it the right way. So I commend you on that, my friend. It's awesome being able to share in your success. And I've had a pleasure, working with you, training with you, everything from my conferences to Brad the Man to Dealer Synergy. I got to really know you and your people. And I say this all the time. I've been doing this for so long. Well, not every single one of my Dealer Synergy clients are rock stars. Just like, every coach that's out there, not every one of their players is going to be an all-star. It's because it's the coaching and the information is one thing, but the talent, the individual has to be there. So, I think that you do really well because it's a combination. It's not just my information, just like what you're saying. It's not just you being a great director. It's the ingredients that you have to direct with. Am I right?
Absolutely. With your football point, think of Bill Belichick. Look at all the Super Bowls he won. He didn't always have the best team on the field. He didn't have all the superstars all the time, but he had the culture. He had, how many people did he take that were problems on other teams that came to the Patriots and were superstars? You know what I mean? And it's just because he had that culture and he took the time to make sure he knew how his team as a whole. And see, again, the internet director is not just your BDC team. Your team as a whole is the entire dealership. And that's what people forget.
Right.
If Corey would basically be the head coach of our dealership, I'm one of the assistant coaches. Right. The other manager, the other assistant coaches. Our players are out here. It's how do we make these players win? And if I'm doing it on my own, if I'm over here as the defensive coordinator saying, screw Bill Belichick, I'm going to do what I want to do, it's never going to work. And that's how most BDC departments work.
Well, listen, brother, I appreciate you taking the time. Again, we're going to hit you up for season 4. So this is for season 3 and the place to be.
Okay.
And I appreciate you doing this.
The only one I missed is season 2 then.
Huh?
Because I think I was in season 1. I missed one season, but
I think you missed two. But that's why we're watching season 3. Because now the podcast is getting bigger. We gotta spread things out a little bit. We can't have people coming back all the time. And we gotta make
absolutely. Anytime you want to talk, Sean.
I appreciate it.
If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. They want to hear it too. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there. The blind guy talking about we'll see you there. You funny, dog. If you enjoyed this podcast, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave us a review. Let some other folks know about it. Oh, and don't forget to join the Millionaire Car Salesman group on Facebook. We'll see you there.